The ecosystem of SAP Concur is actually very important to us. Things like Rocket Trip have driven our cost savings to a new height within the organization. We saved $130,000 last year.
The mobile app and Tripit, those are great tools for our associates. Tripit will send itinerary automatically to the traveler. The mobile app have so many great features and automated the process.
You want to make the processes that support the business as effective as possible, making sure that the GW experience is exactly as advertised. When we send students abroad, we want them to be focused on the reason they're there, the transaction, the reimbursements, all of that. We want that to feel like you're still right at home in your residence hall. So now when I get ready to approve an expense report, I can take time that would be wasted time and turn it into productive time, no matter where you are in the world.
NEC はネットワーク技術とコンピューティング技術を併せ持つインテグレーターとしてグローバルで事業を展開しています。NEC の課題はグローバルな競争力を常に維持・確保し続けるということです。
NEC グループではNEC マネージメントパートナーを中心として間接業務の改革を進めてまいりました。SAP コンカーを導入した大きなメリットとして一つは伝承法、E文書対応が推進できるということです。これによってですね、従業員が領収書を貼り付けて提出するような工程が省けますので、領収書自体の保管なども含めて大幅な効率化、コスト削減が見込める。
The implementation of Concur allowed us to rethink our policies in line with a new strategy that we never had before.
You can use it anywhere. If I need to book a quick flight for someone, I can just log onto my phone, book it with no problems at all. Just makes the whole process so much easier.
Reporting to the UK governing body when it comes to tax used to be quite a laborious and manual process. Now with Concur we're able to produce those reports in a matter of minutes.
Discovery is a global leader in real-life entertainment all around the world. There is a purpose to our mission in travel. We're trying to get our travelers to their destinations safely, productively, and return safely.
We were using two different systems. Employees had to book travel on one system and then reconcile their expenses on another system.
Now, with Concur Travel and Expense, it's a lot more efficient.
With TripLink, we're able to increase online adoption, capture data through credit card spend, as well as invisible spend, which for a long time we didn't know existed.
All that data that's provided by Concur helps us make the right decisions. And we're not just kind of like saying, oh, we should do this. You know, the data helps us make that decision.
We're always striving to be better. We all want to achieve that to be the best we can possibly be.
Therefore, you have to pick world-class platforms like SAP Concur to make sure that we're focused on the right things and not the difficult things.
And that means you're making processes as easy to do as possible.
Welcome to the webinar. Before we start, here are some tips for you to interact with us. You are welcome to submit a question using the Q&A widget. Also, don't forget to fill in the survey form before the end of the event. Here are more tips for you to enhance your experience. This webinar is being streamed through your computer and there is no dial-in number. All the widgets on your screen are resizable and movable. If your slides are behind, push F5 or function plus F5 on your keyboard to refresh your page. For any inquiry, feel free to contact us by email or phone. Let's start the webinar.
Hello everybody, I'm Victor Hui. We are going to share how we help the financial services companies to grow intelligently with the right spend management solution. During this 45-minute section, I would like to share some challenges and best practices for financial services companies in managing the corporate spend. Then we will have Sharon from LGT Bank for the case sharing. Finally, we will have a Q&A section. So let's start. In Hong Kong, financial services industries are highly regulated with many corporate policies. We found many FSI companies face some common challenges according to our customers' engagement. They can be classified into 4 categories. The first one is digitalization. Some steps in employee-initiated spend process may be very tedious and manual. Companies usually lack simple and mobile tools to make their process more smoothly and easily. Streamlined process can help raising employee productivity and hence focus more on value-added activities. The second one is risk and compliance, which is usually of the highest priority in financial companies. Organizations seek different measures to ensure the compliance requirements are met and prevent potential fraud in corporate spending. The other one is cost pressure. Corporate spending in financial service industry is usually very high compared with other industries. Companies need to find different ways to save costs and improve any inefficiencies in spend process. The last one is about security. Data safety and integrity are another critical concern in the industry. How to make sure that the data and information is highly secure and compliant to the rules and guidance on data protection. Moreover, the duty of care of the employee is also another important matter to the organization. Therefore, today, we would like to bring you to look closely on what kind of spending you usually have and how we can help you to reduce the processing costs and optimize the costs accordingly. Let's take a look on the employee spend first, which include all the employee-driven reinvestable spending. For example, travel and accommodation, cash advance, entertainment, communication or mobile expense, local transportation, training, gift purchase for your customer, etc. The other expense will be vendor spend, which refers to all employee-driven indirect costs, such as utilities bill, marketing event expense, IT purchase for the notebook and computer, consulting or maintenance service, stationeries, and pantry refill, etc. Employee spend requirements can be fulfilled by Concur Travel Expense module, while the vendor spend can be fulfilled by Concur Invoice module. These modules are integrated and running in the same Concur platform in cloud environment. The users are to use the same functionalities in both web interface and mobile app. Let's take a look on the employee spend first. Let's take a look from the digitalization aspect first. Before we go into the details, I would like to bring you to with a 4-minute video called The Perfect Trip, which explains how SAP Concur carries the vision of expense report right itself. Let's see how Concur platform can execute this vision in the end of the end-to-end journey.
Hello, my name is Jessica Choi, Regional Sales Manager at SAP Concur. Today, I'm going to show you just how simple the end-to-end travel and expense process can be with SAP Concur and our partners. I'm going to Singapore to meet with a client for lunch meeting, and the meeting is now confirmed. I've added SAP Concur as an attendee, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. Now I'm going to book my flight and hotel to Singapore, arriving the day before so I can prepare for my customer meeting. All I need to do is input the travel dates, and here I see all the flight options. And this is the one I want. I want to stay in a hotel near my customer, so I'm going to search for my hotel right here, and I don't even need to go to another website. I can see the corporate rates of the hotels, and that's the one I want. This itinerary will be sent directly to my manager for pre-approval. She can see the total travel cost versus the available travel budget, even on the go. Once the request is approved, I now have a single itinerary that includes both my flight and hotel. The best thing about it is that it's fully integrated and that my ticket is issued automatically after the request is approved. Now that my ticket has been issued, my company's HR manager will also receive a notification. This allows the company to perform their duty of care obligations. Now everything's set in place and I'm off to Singapore. Oh, I just received an SMS. Looks like the weather in Singapore is slightly hazy these days. In cases of emergency, my company can pinpoint my location, communicate with me via SMS, and even send help if necessary. I'm going to book a Grab to my hotel and ensure that I'm traveling on my business profile. Great, it'll be here in 2 minutes. Thanks to the partnership between Grab and SAP Concur, the receipt will automatically flow into my expense report. No receipt, no hassle. And it really highlights the power of an integrated ecosystem. Now that I've checked in, I'm going to prepare for tomorrow's meeting. I've just had a very successful meeting with our customers, and now that they're happy, it's time for me to pay. I simply need to take a photo of the paper receipt using my Concur app, and through the OCR technology, the receipt data will automatically be captured. Because I added Concur in my Outlook calendar invite, as you saw earlier, everyone at this lunch meeting gets populated as meeting attendees. All of this information then gets matched to the corporate card transaction that appears in SAP Concur. After I check out of my hotel, I simply forward my hotel e-receipt to SAP Concur, and my expense report is being automatically generated. Oh, and it looks like my Grab is here. I'm off to the airport again. Now my trip is over, and all the expenses occurred during the trip has been automatically integrated with SAP Concur, and it's all sitting right here. From the airfare to the itemized hotel bill, the Grab ride, and the business lunch with the attendees, the expense report pretty much wrote itself. The daily meal allowance will also be calculated based on my travel itinerary. For me, it's been effortless. Once submitted, my manager can approve my expense report on the go. My CFO has instant and accurate visibility to where employee spend goes. She can manage the company's bottom line better by saving costs through process efficiencies and policy compliance. My colleagues in procurement can see top spend categories and vendor analysis, which allow for better negotiations with suppliers. They can also quickly determine how we measure against budget and take appropriate actions. Thank you for joining me on this trip to experience how simple business travel and expense reporting can be.
Welcome back. With Concur T&E platform, you can effortlessly manage end-to-end expense claim process. And an employee not just can do it in the web interface, but also use Concur mobile app at any time and anywhere to complete the whole expense claim process. Suppose that I'm the employee who need to take a business trip or need to get my client entertainment expenses for pre-approval. After I have submitted my request, my manager can use his or her mobile to approve it. In the meantime, the manager can check if the request exceeds the client activity budget limit. The manager can also see the budget trending and consumption details on mobile. If it is okay, the manager will approve on the mobile. After receiving the approval message from my manager, I can use Concur Travel, which is a consumer-grade online booking tool, to book my flights and hotels. With Concur Travel, I can easily search those preferred airlines and hotels that are compliant to the company policy at anywhere at any time. During the trip, I pay the meal with my corporate card. Such transaction will be posted to the Concur platform automatically after I took Uber. Since my Uber profile was connected with my Concur profile, the e-receipt from Uber will also automatically be placed into my Concur account, thus reducing a lot of manual input and avoid human input error. For those transactions paid by cash, I can take a picture on the receipt using Concur mobile app. With OCR technology, relevant expense items information will be captured and the transaction will be automatically classified for me based on the machine learning technology. It reduces the input effort. This is also very useful when the receipt is lost by accident. Concur platform will also allow the customer to put the audit rules and policies in the system, for example, meal limit. If it is over, the system will prompt the user and manager with an alert. From the company point of view, it is to assure company compliance throughout the organization, and the employee claim behavior can also be fine-tuned. After I have submitted the expense report, my manager can be notified and approve my expense report using mobile app. My manager can see the necessary details such as policy exception, receipt images at a fingertip. Mobile-enabled process shorten the entire processing time. Concur is a global platform with localized ecosystem partners, such as Uber in US and Europe, Grab in Southeast Asia, Ola in India, and Didi in mainland China. With these ecosystem partners feeding the transaction information, employee saves the data entry effort, and finance saves the data checking time. The system can also integrate with WeChat to capture and authenticate the Fapiao in mainland China. Such automation helps companies to achieve tax compliance. For the risk and compliance aspect, one of the expense types that is very common in finance services companies is the gift and hospitality expense, simply called G&H expense. Before such expense takes place, either employee is giving or receiving benefits, employee may need to submit the pre-approval according to the industry best practices. In the request, user may need to declare expense nature, business relationship, value, and other justification, and route to the corresponding personnel such as risk officer for approval. Captured information can be used by internal audit team for G&H spend analysis. For gift and hospitality spend, many companies in finance industry would require capturing the attendee information as one of the anti-bribery measures. To efficiently capture attendee names, Concur supports adding and searching from the list. Per head bill limit can also be set according to the different attendee types, with automated alert and special approval routing. Such alerts can serve to educate employees to more responsible and compliant spend behavior. Captured attendee spend information can also be used for suspected fraud analysis. In finance service industry, it is common to see different entitlements for different types of employees. For example, regional and local office employees may have different hotel spend limits. The expatriates may be granted to access certain benefits such as club membership claims. It can be challenged for employees, managers, and finance to understand all these rules. Concur, you can set the audit rules with granular parameters in the system. System can then automatically check the entitlement and alert accordingly. If necessary, the system can route to corresponding personnel accordingly to ensure proper control in various situations. For better spend control, many finance service companies would set up approval routing according to different situations. For example, claim would go to different approvers according to spend amount, spend categories, spend purpose, and cost owners, etc. With SAP Concur, such a logic can be embedded in the approval workflow, and the system can route to corresponding personnel for approval. Audit trail is enabled in order to ensure accountability of each role. Many finance service companies worry about the hidden non-compliant expenses. One of the common sources will be the hotel spend, which may hide away some of the out policy items such as spa or minibars if there is no breakdown in expense report. However, if the employees are asked to break down the spend, it can be very time-consuming and error-prone task. With Concur, employee can simply email forward to Hotelfolio to Concur email address, so that all the items will be automatically itemized for you to reduce the data entry effort. Rules can be set to highlight the out-of-policy item and enable employee to declare any personal charges during the hotel stay. With such feature, it is very easy for company to identify out-of-policy spending. Besides flagging out the exceptions during the expense claim process, many finance companies would like regular review of spend policy execution to evaluate execution effectiveness and room for improvement. With SAP Concur, companies can look into pre-built compliance analysis. They can see the compliance trending and drill down to see if certain exceptions are attributed to certain employees in particular situation. Companies can then get an actionable insight on what to do next, such as spend policy training, policy revision. Cost pressures is another aspect that finance service companies will pay attention to. In order to avoid the possibility of overspending by the employees, Concur platform provides a comparison on estimated amount on your request approval and the actual spending of the claim, with the objective of cultivating more responsible employee spend behavior. Many financial companies will set up different budgets to align with the business objectives, such as budget for marketing events or client activities. However, some companies do not have good tools for budget execution monitoring. Some companies still rely on Excel spreadsheet to keep track of the spending. Also, they only know over the budget after spend happens, which is too late. With Concur, you can import your budget data into the system so that the system can check your spend against the budget, even before spend happens during the pre-approval stage. Budget owner can also view the budget dashboard on the web or mobile anytime and anywhere to keep informed about budget consumption status. In order to have better spend governance, many financial service companies want to get granular cost picture so that they have better understanding where and how they spend, and thereby optimizing the cost structure. For example, how much spent on projects across different profit centers. With SAP Concur, employee can allocate spend to different cost dimensions, such as client project, cost centers, etc. System can notify by email and trigger cost owner approval if necessary. By capturing granular data, companies can analyze spend in many different dimensions. They can then understand what are the main cost drivers to assist better cost optimization decision. For example, line manager would like to see who will spend most for a certain period of time. Procurement would probably like to see which supplier will be spent more with, so that they can negotiate better rates with these vendors, or even ask for better services. Because these are some granular cost analysis for different cost center and projects. You can see how much have been spent for some customers, projects, or events. Even the sales department can make any adjustment in their business strategy in order to optimize spending. Now, let's talk about another aspect, security. Many financial service companies would recognize that their employees are one of the most important assets. Keeping them safe and ensure their well-being are very important. As we all know, there were different unexpected events happening in Hong Kong and other parts of the world last year and this year. For example, current coronavirus situation in Hong Kong and in the world, socially unrest situation, shooting event in Thailand in February, the bushfire in Australia last year. You may start to think of the duty of care for your employees to consider the employees' safety. In case of the emergency like natural disaster or social disruption, Concur system can send security advisory messages to the affected employees according to their work, home, travel location via email, Concur mobile app, SMS. Employees can respond to status and let your company know if they need further assistance. From now on, let's move the discussion onto the vendor spend, which refers to our Concur invoice solution. Let's see how our invoice solution can address these four aspects that financial services companies will concern. Many finance service companies can have different employee-driven vendor expenses ranging from the IT purchase to marketing events. An automated paperless end-to-end process can help raising employee productivity. Imagine that you want to purchase a printer for your office. You can create a purchase request in Concur and submit for approval. When your manager approves the purchase, he or she can see the budget impact and approve on email or web at any time and anywhere. Once approved, PO can be automatically generated and ready to be sent to the vendor. When you receive the printer, you can also mark it is received in the system if necessary. Afterwards, you get the invoice from the vendor through email. You can simplify just upload this electronic invoice to the system. Concur automatically extract the invoices details through the OCR technology. It reduces the employee's manual entry. Once the invoice details are populated in the system, embedded policy check helps me to identify any exceptions that I need to be aware of, such as mismatch of the PO and invoices. After I clear the problems, I can submit the invoice online. System can route to the corresponding approvers automatically according to your rules. Approvers can approve on mobile or web at any time to shorten the approval process. Subsequently, he can go to the finance for final check and post to the accounting system. Since you may have a wide range of vendor purchase in your organization, it is necessary to exercise different controls according to your different situations. For example, you may want to set up the audit rules in the systems to check if certain purchases are exceeding certain thresholds for some spend categories. It can also help detecting if there are duplicate invoices to prevent from paying the same invoice twice. After the invoices are submitted, the system can route to responsible approvers according to different criteria, such as spend category, amount, cost owner, etc., to ensure different spends are properly authorized. What users did in the process flow can be traced also in the audit trail for compliance purpose. To optimize your spend on what matters most, financial service company need to capture granular data for better spend decision. You may want to know what are the top spenders in your organization, how much you spend on certain vendors, etc. And what is the spend trend for different categories? Can we negotiate better payment terms with the top spenders? Which departments, projects, or marketing events incur most vendor spend, etc.? When you have a holistic spend picture by combining your employee and vendor spend data, you have better visibility of your companies, and it can be easier to discover the cost-saving potential. Finally, governments in different countries have quite stringent rules on financial institutions on data security. As companies get regional or even global, complying these security standards and regulations are very critical. SAP Concur has been in business for over 26 years, continuing observing the data security laws globally and take clients' data security as a first priority. Concur platform complies to various data security standards such as Hong Kong Monetary Authority Supervisory Policy Manual and Hong Kong Data Protection Principles. Okay, I hope after my sharing today, you will get better understanding on industry best practice on spend management and how you can leverage technology to tackle the 4 major concerns in the industry. Thank you. Let me pass to Sharon and Alex for the next section.
Okay, thank you, Victor, for your presentation. So, okay, today we are very honored to have one of our customers in Hong Kong, Ms. Sharon Nam, from LGT Bank, to share with us their experience in rolling out Concur, expense and invoice in Asia. So a little bit background on LGT Bank. So they are the biggest asset management company under a Liechtenstein princely family for over 80 years. And then in Asia, they have around 900 employees in different parts of Asia, for example, like Hong Kong, Singapore, and Thailand. And they've been Concur customer since 2019, and they implement Concur expense, invoice, and also budget. The key users are the relationship managers and regional headquarter executives within Asia. So, hey, Sharon, thank you for your time to join our seminar today.
No problem. It's my
Hi.
pleasure.
Okay, so to start with, could you share with us before using Concur, what are the key challenges in handling the employee travel spend as well as the vendor payment employee spend?
Okay, because in finance, right, we are a region office, so usually the process is quite different, and also the regional CFO doesn't have the overview of what is spent in both countries on the RMs, T&E plus the invoices. So that was actually one of the key challenges that we have initially. And but even though, because we in Hong Kong and in Singapore, we do have our own developed system. Singapore has their own developed system, and then Hong Kong has another one. So every time when we want to make some changes, it's always very difficult, or you have to put in a lot more money for enhancement.
I see.
And because it's a third party service, and then sometimes when they do upgrades and stuff like that, they always ask you whether you want to upgrade. If you don't upgrade, they can't support you in going forward or something like that. So that's what we find it a bit challenging for us, because as our business grow, we do need to have a system that can cater for our growth in business.
Okay, yeah, I can understand that, because I think for a in-house system upgrade, and this is certain costs associated with the cost of ownership, but with a cloud system like Concur, everything is the latest version, and you don't need to have a specialized IT team to maintain and support it. It's all done by Concur. So this is one of the
right. Yes, exactly.
Yes. Okay. So so after you start looking into Concur, and then we start the implementation, tell me a little bit about your experience during the implementation process with our service delivery team.
Okay, so during the implementation, of course, in the beginning, when we tried to introduce this system to our project members, they was like, oh, okay, this is different from what they used to do. But because then, when we kick off the project, so we actually have a lot of calls with Concur to ensure that, that the project manager will always guide us through the configuration by using your industry best practices.
Sure.
So of course, during this call, then we always are able to ask and clear our doubts. So I would say during the implementation process, the Concur team is actually quite helpful. And then you guys are always sharing the best practices, like what other of their clients are doing, and then we try to also use that opportunity to streamline our process.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. So that's probably one of the reasons why we can finish the implementation for both expense and invoice within 10 weeks, right? 2.5 months.
Yes. Exactly. Yes. Correct.
Great. Yes. And after the project was live, so did you have a chance to get some feedback from end users, those relationship managers and executives, and how are they using Concur? after the system went live?
To be honest, in the beginning, because I mean, if it's new, so everybody has to learn from scratch how it works. But subsequently,
true.
you know, our finance team, because previously before using Concur, right, our finance team is actually checking the receipts manually.
Oh, okay.
So that part itself, we do spend quite a lot of time doing those checking of receipts against the expenses report.
Right.
So which is why we also took the opportunity to subscribe to the Concur audit team to help us to do the compliance check on the receipt. That actually helped us a lot, and then our finance team can actually use their time more efficiently right now.
Okay.
So that's one thing. We have very good feedback from the finance team.
That's good. That's good.
And
so,
then initially as well, we didn't roll out the mobile app, but subsequently, after a while, when everyone is happy with the system, and then we roll out in the second phase. So now the management are actually quite happy with the mobile app because they can also do the approval on the go.
Right. Yes, especially for those approvers that are traveling all the time. They don't have a lot of time back in the office, so they can just use the mobile to do the approval, right?
Yeah, and then for the front, for the RMs, they are also quite happy because you know, they can just use the mobile app and then take the receipt, the picture, and then upload it.
Yes.
And then at the same time, once it's uploaded, the assistant can actually work on their expenses report, not just wait until they are back in the office, and then you know they have to give them all the receipts and all this.
Yes, and
So
also
I think that's quite good.
Yeah, and I still remember back in those times that I when I travel, I need to carry back the receipts, paper receipts, and sometimes I forgot what is receipt for, and also I'll probably misplace it. But using Concur mobile app, we take a picture immediately. You have a record already, so and you can just write down any purpose on for that expense. So it's very, I think, from the user side, the user experience can be much better.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. Now to summarize, so I think similar to other Concur customers, so there are, at least from the finance industry, there are three benefits of Concur, namely compliance, cost control, and digitization. So I think you talked about the compliance earlier, that our audit team help offload the burden from your finance team to check the receipt or expense report. And then you also talk about the approver using the mobile apps to approve it. But also, can you share a little bit more about like cost control in terms of budget visibility? How Concur help LGT Bank to better control the T&E cost?
So right, I mean with the system, and then when we have the budget in place, then set it up in Concur. Usually the budget owner, when they do an expenses report or anything, they can actually have a real life check on their budget module that the cost has been, how much has been allocated. So this is actually one of the good things for the budget owner as well, because they can also view it on the mobile app.
So this is basically they can have real-time access to the actual budget compared to previously. Understand probably the budget owner might get the budget, but maybe there's a time lag. They're probably getting the budget of last month, and then they don't have real-time access to the latest and current budget, right?
Yeah, exactly. Correct.
Okay, great. So I think these three benefits, compliance, cost control, and digitization, summarize the benefits that LGT Bank achieved by using Concur. And I can, because I also have some other finance customers, they all share the same thing. These are the key benefits that you can get from Concur. So, by the way, while we are talking, there's some online questions coming in, and there's one question for you, Sharon. And the question is, what advice that you can give to a company that's thinking about using Concur or planning to roll out Concur on expense and invoice? So, any advice that you can give to them?
I would say that you really need to know what is the ultimate goal for your organization. So for us itself, we want to align or streamline the process across Asia.
Right.
So we actually did a lot of preparation beforehand. And during the process, we also identify some of our users as a champion. So usually they are the finance team. So we will also see or work with Concur how to do the configuration setup. And then based on that, they do a lot of testing. So, during that process, like I said earlier on, we had a lot of interaction with the implementation project manager to ensure that all our requirements and needs are met.
Yes.
So I guess, if you really want to, you have to know what is the ultimate goal. If you just want to use the system, which can help you to customize the workflow, yeah, that's fine. But because for us, we want to streamline the process and so see what is the best practice that is in the market. So.
Right. Yes, I fully agree with you because you look for just a tool to automate. Well, there might be other tools, but if you look for the best practice in the industry and also with a goal in mind, and just like LGT Bank, streamline the process and get the advice from a leader in the market for best practice, then Concur is the definitely choice. So thank you so much for your time, Sharon, today. And so in the meantime, let me pass back to Victor for the rest of the questions. Thank you. Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sharon and Alex. This is Victor again. Let me help for the remaining questions. I have seen some questions coming in the Q&A panel. Let me read it out first. The first one is, how many languages are supported by your system? In our Concur system, there are 27 languages, both for the web and mobile interface, and which includes the English, of course, traditional Chinese, simplified Chinese, Japanese, and other parts of the European language, and as well as some Southeast Asia languages as well. The second question is that what are the duration of a typical Concur project implementation? I would say assume that expense module is going to be implemented. It is talking about 10 to 12 weeks to complete the project. And it is utilize our local consultant based in Hong Kong. They can speak languages including English, Cantonese and Mandarin. And since we utilize a lot of the best practice and templates for the customer, so that the customer will be quite satisfied with the project implementation, and it will be delivered usually on time. I hope I answered this question. So that's all I would like to share today. Hope you will enjoy the section. Thank you so much. By the way, just to remind you to fill up the survey on the right-hand side of your screen. Please provide your valuable feedback to us so that we will understand more of your requirements. See you next time. Bye-bye.
The ecosystem of SAP Concur is actually very important to us. Things like Rocket Trip have driven our cost savings to a new height within the organization. We saved $130,000 last year.
The mobile app and TripIt, those are great tools for our associates. TripIt will send itinerary automatically to the traveler. The mobile app have so many great features and automated the process.
You want to make the processes that support the business as effective as possible, making sure that the GW experience is exactly as advertised. When we send students abroad, we want them to be focused on the reason they're there, the transaction, the reimbursements, all of that. We want that to feel like you're still right at home in your residence hall. So now when I get ready to approve an expense report, I can take time that would be wasted time and turn it into productive time, no matter where you are in the world.
NEC はネットワーク技術とコンピューティング技術を併せ持つインテグレーターとしてグローバルで事業を展開しています。NEC の課題はグローバルな競争力を常に維持・確保し続けるということです。
NEC グループではNEC マネージメントパートナーを中心として間接業務の改革を進めてまいりました。SAP コンカーを導入した大きなメリットとして一つは伝承法、異文書対応が推進できるということです。これによってですね、従業員が領収書を貼り付けて提出するような工程が省けますので、領収書自体の保管なども含めて大幅な効率化、コスト削減が見込める。
The implementation of Concur allowed us to rethink our policies in line with a new strategy that we never had before.
You can use it anywhere. If I need to book a quick flight for someone, I can just log onto my phone, book it with no problems at all. Just makes the whole process so much easier.
Reporting to the UK governing body when it comes to tax used to be quite a laborious and manual process. Now with Concur we're able to produce those reports in a matter of minutes.
Discovery is a global leader in real-life entertainment all around the world. There is a purpose to our mission in travel. We're trying to get our travelers to their destinations safely, productively, and return safely.
We were using two different systems. Employees had to book travel on one system and then reconcile their expenses on another system.
Now, with Concur Travel and Expense, it's a lot more efficient.
With TripLink, we're able to increase online adoption, capture data through credit card spend, as well as invisible spend, which for a long time we didn't know existed.
All that data that's provided by Concur helps us make the right decisions. And we're not just kind of like saying, oh, we should do this. You know, the data helps us make that decision.
We're always striving to be better. We all want to achieve that, to be the best we can possibly be.
Therefore, you have to pick world-class platforms like SAP Concur to make sure that we're focused on the right things and not the difficult things.
And that means you're making processes as easy to do as possible.